Hey there, everybody. What's up, Savages? Hope you're all doing well and not too worried about all this red that we're seeing in the market right now. It looks like it's kind of recovering a little bit, so that's good. Tonight, we're going to be covering how to mine AION on using NVIDIA GPUs and SimpleMining OS. But first, I'm super tired, guys. I'm sorry. I was working in the yard all day today, and I'm exhausted. So, but first, if you're watching this video and haven't subscribed yet, have no idea what's going on, why you haven't, but go ahead and do that, and also hit that like and subscribe and the bell and all that stuff. It helps out the channel quite a bit. I'm live almost every night, and this night it has been every night, and we're always having fun and talking crypto mining and stuff like that. So. Be sure to subscribe and all that junk. I've also started streaming on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Sometimes, probably won't be this Saturday, but we'll see. And also follow me on Twitter. Be sure to follow me on Twitter because over there I always talk about what's going on the channel, and I also, talk about all the things over there. So. Plus, sometimes I'll do polls and kind of try to figure out what we're going to be doing that night on the show. So it's kind of like interaction back and forth, so it works out pretty well. So keep that in mind. Let's take a quick look and see what the rigs are up to. I've got both of these rigs are not on HiveOS right now because one of them is on SimpleMining because I needed an NVIDIA rig, so I got it up and running on SimpleMining. This rig right here, and so it's over here now, and because we needed that tonight, right? So I'm actually already mining AION with it, but we'll still go through it, and I need to upgrade the miner anyway, so we'll definitely take a look at that. And then on the two co-owned rigs, these two top rigs here that say Block Ring on them, those are still mining CCX. Probably not going to get off of CCX for another, at least half a month. On the 20th, we always go back and forth and figure out what we're going to do with the rigs that coming up month. And for quite a few months, it's been CCX, so that's probably where they will stay for the time being. So let's take a quick look at the market, and then we're going to get into some cool stuff. It looks really red. We did kind of recover a little bit, though. We were. We were kind of recovering. Super volatile right now. Good grief. Yeah, I don't know. Just keep an eye on it, I guess. I mean, Litecoin, I don't know what's going on with Litecoin. They're coming up on the halving and all that stuff. Man, it should not be dropping like that, but we'll see. I'm not an analyst. I don't really look, too deep into all this kind of stuff, but it's not good to see all this red, I know that. But we saw many days of some crazy green, so you got to kind of expect some pullback, right? And there was like a flash crash. It went all the way down to, not flash crash, but it did whenever Coinbase and there was some other exchanges and stuff that went down all at the same time, or pretty much the same time. I think it went down to 10.8 or 10.7 was the lowest it went, something like that for BTC. So kind of crazy. Let's head over to CoinMarketCap, and then after that, we've got Red Panda in here, and we've got kind of a cool little thing that we're going to try to do live here. If it works, we'll see. Let's look at some of our more common coins that we look at, and actually we'll do the Red Panda thing here in just a second. So we're going to look at AION. AION's down below 13 cents. Not great. Looking for some recovery there for sure, but it's only down 6% today. Not awful for crypto. And the second one is Raven, and that's going to bring up what we're going to do tonight with Red Panda. So as you know, I have way back when, a few weeks back, we were doing all those videos on Raven coin assets, and I was doing like use case stuff and all that cool mess. Let me get my light on here. Uh-oh. Must have fell. You guys can see me though anyway. So we were doing all that asset stuff. I did all the videos, and in one of those videos, I think I did it from my phone. I don't remember where I created the asset, but I created a Red Panda mining asset, right, in Ravencoin, on the Ravencoin asset layer. And you know, if you're familiar with Ravencoin, you know I'm a big fan. And you know, if you watch any of my videos, I'll talk about it. Plus, I've done all those videos about the asset use cases and things like that. And you know, if you're familiar with Ravencoin and all, that is the primary purpose of it, is to create and manage and transfer assets from, you know, one person to another. So one of the cool things that kind of happened whenever it first was released, as far as the update to the network, and you're able to create assets back in, I want to say it was October of last year. You know, I had got home from work and I was searching for some, because it was almost like the feeling of I don't know if not a lot of people are going to remember it, but back in the day, whenever the internet was first, you know, starting to explode, there were people registering domain names and squatting on the domain names, like common names and stuff, right? And it was kind of like that. But I typed in Bitsby Trippin', and it was still available. He hadn't got it yet, and I was going to get it, but I was like, you know what, he's probably going to get it. So I didn't. I was going to transfer it to him. I wasn't going to, like, you know, squat on it or anything. But anyway, so kind of a cool story. I could have got Bitsby Trippin' in the very beginning, but I did get Red Panda Mining, and I did get Brandon Coin. And I want to transfer both of them, and I'm going to transfer the one to Red Panda Mining tonight. I'm not really looking at the chat, so hopefully you guys are able to hear me and everything. What's up, Yashnik and Michael Johns? Glad you guys could make it. And Red Panda, of course, he's in here. So I'm just going to get on my phone here, and then we're going to try to do, oh, you know what I have to do? I was going to actually transfer it through to my desktop wallet so that you guys could see it real easy. But my desktop wallet isn't syncing for some reason. I've got a problem with it. So I'm going to have to, I've got his, Red Panda gave me his address for his phone, a receiving address for his phone, Ravencoin wallet, and that is what I'm going to send it to. Just a second. I'm not really doing it yet. I'm just getting it on my phone so that so I can just copy the address instead of trying to type it in, of course. So once it comes in over here, alright, so let me show you guys what I'm doing. I can't really, I do have it set up to where I can actually stream my phone to Streamlabs OBS, and you guys can see it, but it lags so bad. It's like a couple of minutes, you know, in between the time that I do something on the phone and it shows up over there. So it's not efficient enough to actually use it. But so I'm just going to have to kind of show you guys what's going on here. So this is the Raven wallet, mobile wallet. Try to get it to focus here. Maybe. Focus. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright, so you can see some of the assets that have been sent to me. I've got like Level. These are like airdrops kind of. Level, and then there's like a Google Play, Raven something, and then Thumbs Up. But those are just assets that have kind of been airdropped. You know, they just know my address and they just send it to me. I don't even know what they are. But if you click on Show More, you can see I sent myself some of my SavageMine asset. And then I've got Red Panda mining right here, and then Brandon Coin right here. So I'm going to click on Red Panda mining, that asset. Sorry. And then I am going to, if it focuses, focus. There we go. I'm going to click transfer, because you might think, well, I want to reissue it, but that's for reissuing different tokens, right? So inside of the asset itself, I'm trying to give the asset, the administrative asset, to someone else. And you can kind of see that if you see these assets that have the A next to them right here. Those are the administrative assets. It's the top level, basically, right? So it's basically the owner is the way to look at it. So that's what that little A means if it focuses. Anyway, so I'm going to click that. Now I'm going to click transfer asset, which is down here at the bottom. And then it's going to want an address. So I'm going to put in the 2. And I copied his address from, what he sent me in private message there. So that's his address, receiving address. And Red Panda, kind of verify that real quick, make sure that it looks right. It looks right to me. So it's QWGS at the end. So just kind of verify that real quick before I hit send. Alright. So then, alright, so that's the right address, and then it looks like I have to click, there's a transfer ownership, little checkbox down there at the bottom right here. So it says transfer ownership, and there's just one asset, and that's true. It's asking for the amount right there. So I'm going to click on that. So now it comes up and says transfer asset, basically. Transfer ownership. Make sure that looks right. It's going to hit me with a 0.000023 network fee. Alright, so then I'm going to click transfer asset. And it wants to verify it. Let me just double check that. 1 Red Panda, processing time 1 to 6 minutes. Total cost and all that stuff looks good to me. Alright, so now I'm going to click send. And it's going to want my PIN number, so I'll put that in there. I gotta unlock my phone. Okay, I did this before. I don't know if it's just my phone or what, but I hope this works. So it asked for all that stuff, and now it's going to let me click transfer again. So then we're going to do it again and just see. PIN required again. Okay. I might be doing something wrong. Okay, so that time it looks like it might have went. Can't really tell. I don't know, man. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it did anything. I'm just going through the steps again real quick. We're getting like totally off track here. I mean, it's acting like it worked, but it does say that it's going to take like 1 to 6 minutes. So, but I don't know how to see if there's like a status. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, there's literally no indication on my phone that it's going. And I had this problem. I want to say that there was something else I was doing that had the same exact problem. could just be impatience, but you would think that there would be some type of indication that something happened. You know, like there's no, I'm looking at the wallet and the history, like transaction history. There's nothing in there that even looks like it's pending or anything. So that's kind of weird. I have a feeling it's not working, but let me see if maybe it's possible that maybe I shouldn't click transfer ownership yet. Maybe that comes after. Maybe that's what's going on here. So I'm going to try to do it without. No. Can't do that either. Because it wants an amount. Oh wow. Okay. So on the fourth try, it just literally just came up and said asset transfer, and then it just went away. So you're probably going to see something in a minute, Red Panda. Man, I don't like that. That's super unreliable. It doesn't give me a good feeling about that, actually. All right, so cool. So now Red Panda Mining has been transferred his asset. So he's good to go with his Ravencoin asset. So now we can press on with what we were going through. All right, cool. And you might see maybe a video or something about him. I think he's got something planned for that. So that's cool. All right, I'm going to get back to what we were supposed to be doing here before we got off track. Thanks for showing up, Red Panda. That was cool. We also got to obviously experience like a little bit of a quirk, a little bit of a issue there. So, all right, let's go with, all right, so we were looking at different cryptos and their values right now in CoinMarketCap. So we're going to look at Swap. Swap is down 11%. These are just my top 10. Basically, I go through the top 10 GPU mineable cryptos that I'm kind of interested in. That's what we're kind of looking at. So Zcash is down 9%. Pretty much everything is down today. CCX down 16. Ouch, that hurts. Veil down 10%. Loki up 8%. It's kind of a good sign whenever a coin actually goes up, whenever the market's going like this. All right, so let's see, Loki and then NIM for Nimic down 14, and then EGM down 11, and Bitcash down 15. So everything is just getting crushed. And if we do a comparable to, oh wow, Insight Chain is up 400%. Wow. All right. What kind of volume is that? 14,000. Yeah, I'd be super careful with that one. I mean, this XMAX just came out of nowhere too, and it's got really great volume though, 24 million volume. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's not mineable or nothing, but yeah, wow. Crazy. Might have to look into that one a little bit, see what it's all about. But if you do a comparable to BTC, I mean, some things are actually doing pretty well. 468%. Yeah, this Grisha has been killing it too. I looked into them a little bit yesterday. Alright, so that is a quick little look at the market. Looks like we dropped some market cap. Volume still super high, and dominance is 62. I want to say it was a little higher than that yesterday, maybe 63 or something. So anyway, alright, so let's get back to what we were supposed to be doing tonight. We are going to be mining AION on NVIDIA GPUs using SimpleMining OS. So you might be asking, if this is the first show that you've watched this week, you might be asking, what is AION? And AION, I like to describe it as an end user and developer focused Web 3.0 blockchain interoperability platform. That's the way I would describe it. Basically, they're creating a hub and spoke model of blockchains using bridges that Java developers, because they recently released AION Virtual Machine, that is basically able to be programmed and built on by Java developers in a language that they already know, right? And so that is kind of cool. I think I can't remember the number of Java developers. It's in the millions, I believe, but I could be wrong there. I don't know. Hundreds of thousands at least. But anyway, AION is focused on simplicity of use for the devs and the users. And they even talk a little bit about privacy and things like that in here too, which is super cool. So we're going to go through the spreadsheet like we normally do. We're going to start at the beginning, just like we would if we were initially starting to look at a project to mine it, and that's where we're going to start. So the coin name is AION. The ticker is AION. Algorithm is Equihash 2109. We've done I've talked about the Equihash algorithm in the previous videos this week, so if you want to learn a little bit more about that, just know that AION's version, the 2109, and if you go over here to, you can see what I'm talking about, kinda. If you go over here to what to mine, you've got AION right here, and that is the 2109 Equihash, but it only says AION, right? So because as far as I know, they're the only ones that use 2109 right now, and that's why that says AION on it. All right, so where was that? Oh yeah, spreadsheet. But yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about the algorithm, just watch the previous videos, and I talk a little bit more about it. And just also know that some miners, depending on the miner, especially Gminer requires the personalization string, and for AION, it's AION 0 P lowercase o and then W. Looks like that, I think. Pretty sure that's right. So that has to be in the miner options or the miner parameters. That has to be in there for it to work properly, and it's kind of like a security measure to make sure that the work that's being submitted is for AION and not some other Equihash algorithm, right? But in the case of LOL Miner, apparently it knows that it's mining AION by the coin parameter. You have a coin parameter and LOL Miner where you just say AION, and then that sets it up for the pool and all that stuff. So for the pool, we will once again use, we're going to go, actually, let's go to mining pool stats, and we're going to check out, this is just a great place to start if you're looking at, how you're going to mine a project that you're interested in. So we're going to head over here and search for AION, and then we're going to find out that aionpool.tech has more than 50% of the pool's hash rate, but we are going to use it. It's super reliable. Let's see if they have a lot of blocks. Yeah, I mean, they've hit 45 of the last 100 blocks, so that's good. Probably need to get some other pools involved and stuff because their hash rate is not distributed very much. So anyway, but on this as well, you also have AION links down here, which is super convenient for us in what we're trying to do. We're trying to document a little bit of information, and we can just pull it from down here. So that helps a lot. So we're going to go to aionpool.tech. Looks like this, and we're going to find out here in a little bit. We're going to put our wallet address in here and look at what's going on down here. But whenever you first go here, you click connect, and it's going to tell you what you need to put in for your servers and your port. So in this case, we've got a 6 GPU rig. We're going to go ahead and use port 3333, but we're going to use the server cluster.aionpool.tech because this is a global auto select. So what it does, if you have this address in there, it will find the closest server to you and connect to that one, and then if that one goes down, it's got a failover that will connect to the next closest one. So they've got 3 total, and then this one just fails over to whichever one, well, it points to the one that's closest, but then if that one fails, it'll point you to the next one. So pretty convenient there. So we're just going to copy that. We're going to remember that it's port 3333. So we're going to throw this in here. And this is just documentation, kind of like what you should do if you're looking at a project to mine it and stuff. And then for the wallet receiving address, we're going to use the desktop wallet this time. I'm going to unlock it here. And it looks like this. And then we're going to use the mining address. And then something else cool, I showed this earlier in the week, but if you click on the little AION logo right here, it'll take you to the dashboard. And the dashboard is super cool. It's hanging off of AION Network's website. You can get to it from the website as well. It's down at the bottom. So if you scroll all the way down here, it's right here. So pretty neat. You can go to analytics and look at network difficulty. Miners, that's what we're kind of interested in. And you can see that it's gone down a lot. And that means a lot for miners. It means that lower powered GPUs or hash rates can actually compete, right? Whenever the difficulty is lower, and more chance of a reward and things like that. And then we can also look at hash power, which is similar. But what's really interesting to me is if you look at active addresses. This just goes like straight up. So, to me, this looks like there's a lot of people using it. There's a lot of people building on it, but it doesn't match up with network difficulty. Network difficulty is lower. So I think that kind of in a way, that those two things, that's a good thing, right, for miners. I don't know. It seems like it would be a good thing for miners, but I don't know. Who am I, All right, so let's put that address in here. That's the desktop wallet. And then the coin market cap value today. Yeah, I'm totally not interacting with the chat because we got to get through this stuff. So looks like 12, almost 13 cents. Grab that. And this is just good to have information. You don't have to have this to actually mine it, but pretty much everything that's not grayed out, you do have to have in order to set up your miner, and there's some things you have to know, right? And these are definitely things, especially the algorithm, the pool and the port, and the wallet receiving address. Technically, depending on how your pool is set up, you could just get away with just knowing the pool and the port and the receiving address, and those are the two very critical information that you must have in order to mine, if you're mining on a pool and not solo mining. But it's all this stuff is good to have information. So we're going to look at market cap and volume. Market cap looks like it's down a little bit. Actually, it has to be because it's 135 is the rank. And then the rank was 135. Might be the same as yesterday. Sounds super familiar. And then we're going to go to what to mine. And remember, we can actually get to that off of the mining pool stats.stream. Right here is the calculator for what to mine. And that'll take you right to the AION one. So we're going to go there. Copy that. And you can see right here that the block rewards are 1.51. Throw that in there. Bitcoin Talk thread, it's kind of unused, not very active anymore. Not really a reason for it to be. You know, it came out in 2017. So this is their Bitcoin Talk thread. And you can see right here that it launched on, or was announced anyway, this thread was September 28th of 2017. So we're just going to document this. Their website is AION.network. And then their mining help website is, if you go to their website, you can click on developers right here and go to mining. And this is basically some help for mining. But what's really helpful is the external resources down here. This will point to the miners and the operating systems that you can use, and then the pools, and then calculators as well. So that's good information. So I'm going to put that as the mining help website. Just remember that it's going to take you here, and you could go, you know, up here to the top if need be. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to be using NVIDIA on SimpleMining. So we are going to be using Gminer. It's probably the most efficient NVIDIA miner for AION right now. So we're going to use that. I don't know what version, but like I said earlier, we are going to have to upgrade, or not upgrade, but choose a different miner version, because this one that I'm using right now is really old. But something I noticed is that it actually gets more souls per second than my other rig, or I'm sorry, than HiveOS. This one's getting 1,329, and HiveOS was getting 1,276 or something like that. So kind of strange. And this is an old miner. This miner is, what version is it? Group config 1.12. So that's kind of old. I think there's much newer ones. So anyway, we will get into that in a minute. Last night I went through the new updates on SimpleMining. Some pretty cool stuff that they've added. Not going to go through it again. If you want to see that, check out last night's video. So let's add a group. And as you can see, I'm already mining it. So, I mean, we literally could just copy this and paste it into a new one. But I kind of want to go through the steps of creating a new one. So we're going to click Add Group, because we're going to upgrade the miner anyway, right? Or we're going to use the later version. You can't just type AION up here. It's not going to work. What did we find out last night? It was like 210 was pretty much all you could write in there. I think if you put like a underscore, yeah, that doesn't work. And if you put a slash, that might work, /9. But basically it's going to end up with the same thing. So anything on this whole page is 210 is the same stuff. So we were using 1.14, I think. So it's all the way down here. And look at all these newer versions. Because I never mine, you know, AION on SimpleMining, right? I'm usually on my HiveOS. So I did this especially for you guys. I just hooked it up so that we could do this. So we are going to use the later version. And just remember, it was getting 1.33. So I want to see if there's like an increase. I'm not going to use LOL miner. Normally you would use that if you have AMD GPUs. So we're going to go up here. We're going to click on Use 1.47. Give it a name. We'll call it YouTube. Whoa. AION underscore YouTube. 27 June 2019. Just so we can make sure that we get the right one. Alright, so for Algo, it looks like they have show more info here. It might not really describe exactly what we need. Well, it kind of does, actually. So, supported algorithms here. So you're not going to put, you might think, well, I can put AION there, right? LOL miner, you would put AION for coin. but that's not what this parameter is. This parameter is algo, and it's a different miner. So you have to put the right thing. So we're going to put 21. I think we can just put this part right here. We don't have to put the whole equihash 2109, although this might work as well. It looks like any one of these will work. Maybe that's why they have the spaces in there. But we're just going to put in there like that. I think that will work. And then remember, let me zoom in here a little bit. And then remember right here, the personalization string is going to be AION 0, capital P, lowercase o, capital W. And then the server is going to be AION, what was it? AION, let's go back over here, AION cluster.aionpool.tech. And then we're going to remember the port is 3333. So we're going to go over here, paste that in there, 3333 for the port. The user address, I'll zoom up on that in just a minute. The user address is your wallet address, right? Your receiving address. I'll throw that in there. Spread this out so we're not making any mistakes. See, it looks like I've got an extra space in there, which might mess things up. So I'm going to hit the backspace here and get it up there. And that looks pretty good. But we are going to add the variable so that we can separate our rig out on the pool. We want to be able to identify it, especially in the case if we had more than one rig, right? So we're going to go, SimpleMining uses a variable called rig name. So we're going to go $, rig name like that, and that should identify our rig associated with this wallet address. So whenever we go out to the pool, we'll be able to see what's going on with that rig specifically. So we'll put the name of the rig on the pool side. So we're going to click add group. Let me actually zoom in on all this real quick. And I will check the chat before I go click add group, so I'll make sure that y'all aren't yelling at me for doing something stupid. Alright, so that looks pretty good. To me it looks good. Let me check the chat and see if y'all are okay with it. Alright, yeah, y'all are alright with it, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to click add group down here at the bottom. Now we've got a new group created. Right here, AION YouTube. Yeah, that one was from yesterday whenever we did AMD. Alright, and then we're going to go back to rig list. Oh shoot, you know what? Yeah, I kind of shrunk that down accidentally a while ago. Leave it like that. Okay, and then we're going to click the check mark next to the rig that we want to use, which is Kessel. And hardware wise, it looks like this right here. And this was one of those additional things that they added to SimpleMining, was they added the GPU manufacturer along with the type of GPU. And then they also added some stuff over here under details where you can see your processor, speed, your motherboard, you know, how much memory you know, your system has, and all that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, kind of cool. Also a drive. I'm using, this is a USB, 32 gig USB drive is what's running SimpleMining. Alright, so we are good to go here. And it looks like we can just go to rig actions, group config, and we're going to put it on the group that we just created, AION YouTube 27 June. And then we're going to reload. And Gminer is probably not on that rig, so it's probably going to have to download it. And you probably can see that. Yes, you can see it over there. I don't know if you can actually see that. it says downloading right there. So it's downloading the miner, and I know it's out of focus. There's no light in here. It has such a hard time focusing on that screen for some reason. But it's downloading the miner. There it goes. Gminer 1.47. And then it's already getting accepted shares. So if we go over here, let me switch back over here. Go to here, and then you'll see down here it's got shares accepted. That's great. We can also go shell in a box so that you can see it really well. What is that playing there? Hang on a second, guys. Why is that playing? What is that? Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, it's so weird. Okay, I must have moved something around and jacked that up. I need to get rid of that. We haven't done a random coin video in a while. Let me remove that real quick so we don't get confused. Alright, there we go. So this was, if that was in the way, I don't know if it was in the way, but all I did was I clicked on shell in a box in SimpleMining, and it brings you up to this screen here, and then you can type in screen tech X, maybe, if I can, there we go, screen tech X miner, I think, and that gets you to the actual screen of the miner, right? So you're basically seeing the same thing that you can see down there on that bottom right hand corner is what's happening over there on the left as well. So you can clearly see accepted shares and everything's great down there. And it says it's still getting 1,338 souls per second. And that's more than HiveOS was getting. I'm shocked, to be honest. But the souls per watt is a little bit different because I was getting 2.2. So it must be using a little bit more power. Yeah, let's check the power at the wall here. That's interesting. Could be the overclocks too, though, which we haven't even really messed with. Yeah, it's only, 793 watts at the wall. Yeah. And that's at the wall. That's not bad. All right. Interesting. So now that we're successfully mining, we're going to go out to the pool. Once you get one accepted share, then you should be able to go out to the pool and check the status of your miner and what's going on. So let's go and grab our address, make sure that because this is the address that we are mining to, right? So we're going to go to aionpool.tech. And remember, if you go to my dashboard over here and paste in your wallet address there, and then click load my wallet data, and you can see this is what I was talking about. See how I put a name there and it didn't make it like, I think it says no name or something like that. If you don't have a name in there, if you just have your address without that rig name variable, then it wouldn't put that in there. But you can see clearly that it does whenever you have that variable in there. So now if you had multiple rigs, you could know which rig it was, right? So it gets that name from SimpleMining, and you can see it right there at the bottom. So that is pretty cool. So now you can kind of keep an eye on what's going on with your hash rate, where your hash rate's at, what payments it looks like, yeah, all that kind of stuff. So it just depends on but this is a good tool to use to see what's going on with the miner to make sure you're actually mining, right? Because sometimes people freak out like, I haven't received the payment in a whole day, right? Well, come to find out you're mining at 50 souls per second or whatever, and you haven't earned any shares at all of the pool, or the pool's hasn't hit blocks, or there's all kinds of different variables, but at least this can give you an idea of, hey, it is actually working, you know. So kind of cool. Good tool to use there. So we went over mining it, we went over the power draw, we went over pool stats. Oh yeah, profitability. Okay, so let's look at profitability. Probably shouldn't right now, but we're gonna go, the hash rate was 1330, I believe, right? Something like that. So 1340. So we'll go with 1340. You gotta squeeze all of it out of here. So 1340, and I know it says HS here, but it still it knows that it mean, you know, if you're doing AION, it knows that it's sols per second. Some people will say it's the same exact thing. It's really not, but this website is smart enough to know that since you're looking at AION, it's going to use sols per second. And then the power is at 790 right now at the wall. The cost is about 10 cents is about right. That's like national average kind of stuff, I think. Mine after taxes and everything is probably around 11 or 12. But, you know, well, I'll leave it at 10 just for the sake of the computation here. And then we know all this other stuff is filled in for us. And then we're going to click calculate. So for that rig, it looks like it would profit about, it would net $4 a day if you were trading. And remember, and this is something that you know, you got to kind of really understand. That means absolutely nothing if you're not trading it in for fiat right now, right? Because in tomorrow morning, that's going to change. It's going to be different. So if you don't, most of us are going to be mining and holding. So what's really important to us is more so if we believe in this project and we want to support it with our hash rate and we want to accumulate as much AION as possible, then what's really important to us is the estimated rewards per day, right? Which is 32 for this rig, which is not terrible. You know, the difficulty's down a little bit, so your rewards go up whenever the difficulty goes down. So that's what we're kind of looking at. We're looking at, okay, with this rig, 32 a day, that's 224 a month, that's almost 1,000, I'm sorry, 224 a week, that's almost 1,000 a month. So that's kind of how you have to look at it if you're spec mining and you're just mining this to accumulate as much as possible. So there you go. So I did, yeah, we covered everything. That was the last thing right there. So let me check the chat, see what you guys are up to over here. What's going on, everybody? Sherry, Bohan, Yashnik, I see you too. Red Panda, Shuby, what's up, man? All right, so that is going to do it for me. Yeah, 32 is not bad. I'm actually a little bit surprised about that number. That's good. But it's largely because, you know, I mean, a little bit of that has to do with the current value, obviously. But, yeah, kind of cool. I mean, 32 a day is not bad. 1,000 a month, not bad. I mean, let's just say, you know, it's 1,000 a month and you mine it for a month. And then we went, let's just say that we went halfway to all-time high, which all-time high was just over $10, I think. So let's say it was $5. If AION can get to $5, then that would be a $5,000 month, you know, which is not bad, right? So you're talking about, you know, breaking even on a rig in less than a month, you know. I mean, that's, you know, fingers crossed, wishful thinking and all that stuff. I'm just giving you an example. You know, it's kind of like how you have to kind of think about it. If you're spec mining, that's kind of how you have to think. Like, hey, I'm going to mine this coin. I'm going to pay out of pocket for electricity. I'm going to accumulate, you know, a goal, a target, and then maybe move on to something else. So that's kind of how you have to look at it. Because we're like, you know, I'm hobby. This is not my job, you know. So if I had a warehouse full of GPUs, it would totally be a different story. And honestly, I wouldn't be mining if I had, let's say I had all 1080 Ti's or 1080s or 2080s or whatever, I probably wouldn't be mining AION with them. I would be mining something else, and then if I believed in AION, then I would be buying AION with whatever I earned, right? It's probably the way I would do it. I mean, we can go over here and look at what to mine and see let's look at maybe what 2080 Ti would get. If I can do it right, 2080 Ti, calculate. So yeah, see, it's not even in the top 10. AION, it's way down here. So only 63 cents a day for each 2080 Ti. But if you go up here, I mean, Grin, you know, I would be mining Grin or Beam or Eternity or something like that, and then, you know, immediately exchanging that and buying AION with it, because that would make more sense, right, financially. But if you're a little hobby miner like me, I mean, I'll throw my rigs at whatever I feel like throwing them on, you know, that day. So occasionally I'll hit up AION. Not all the time. I did mine it for quite some time, but I haven't in a while. It's been a minute since I left rigs on it. I mean, obviously for the show I put rigs on it for a few minutes, but yeah. So cool stuff. I didn't really go over the overclocks though. Let's do that real quick. So what I do if I need to grab a baseline overclocks, short of searching, you know, Bitcoin Talk threads or Googling, you know, like, hey, best overclocks for whatever your GPUs are for mining AION or Equihash or whatever. Short of doing that, I always go to, just to get a baseline, I will go to Overcooked Panda's database, which is hanging off of cointomine.today. So if you go to cointomine.today, and then you go over here to the left, there is a overclocks little link. There's also all kinds of, this is a great website. It's got a lot of great information. And then in our case, I have two 1070s, two 1070 Ti's, and two 1080s in this rig. So I would probably stick with, I mean, I would look each of them up and then adjust accordingly. And so let's just look at the 1070 first, just for the heck of it. And then we would change the algorithm to what we were looking for, which in this case is Equihash 2109, and then search. So it says that the most popular configuration is 50 core, 1150 memory, and 120 on the power. So then we can go back over to SimpleMining and go to Group OC, and you can see that I actually have a Group OC assigned to that rig already that is for Equihash 1445, and you know, it's got some pretty standard overclock settings over there, but that's not what I want, right? Because I want to get granular. I want to go and say, okay, the 1070 gets this particular core, this memory, and this power limit. So in this case, you can see down here, I actually have already created it, because at one time I was mining it. So NVIDIA, AION, and then this is the order of the GPUs that show up. And that's important. If you have a mixed rig like I do here, you know, you have to know which GPU is which whenever you want to separate out the core clocks and stuff like that. You know, and I might not even have these right, to be honest. I'll have to look and see. But so you can see how each GPU has its own setting, and it's not just a base setting like this one up here. You know, this one I probably just took like an average and assigned it that way. Although remember, this rig is getting higher souls per second than it is on HiveOS, so maybe those settings are great. I don't know. let's head over to what I want to do is, all right, so this says this is the order: 1070, 1080, 1070 Ti, and then 1080, and then 1070 Ti, and then 1070. So it's 1070 at the ends. All right, I think I can remember that. So let's go to the rig configuration and see what the rig thinks the GPUs are, what order they're in. Okay, so it says 0 is 1070 Ti. See, it's not right. That is not the same list that I have configured in my OC settings. So now I need to fix it to match this because it's obviously wrong. Now I don't know, let's see, I wonder if they fix this because it seems like I remember SimpleMining, each time you restart, sometimes it would change the order of the GPUs. I don't know if that's still a problem or not. Or I don't know if there's ever really a problem, but it seems like that happened. So let's check this out real quick. All right, so this is going like super in depth here. All right. All right, so this is the order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and throw it into a notepad real quick just so I can have it. Super handy here. Okay, then I'm going to go back to Group OC. I'm going to go to the one that I want to use, which is AION down here. I'm going to go to Edit. Then it looks like the first GPU is a 1070 Ti, and that's GPU 0. So we're going to go back. We're going to go back to Overcooked Panda's baseline. Basically, I'm going to change this to baseline overclock settings. So I'm going to change this to 1070 Ti, equihash 2109, search. And then I'm going to say, okay, so it wants, wow, it's saying 0, 0, and 135. That's odd. Normally, equihash, because it's memory hard, normally you would want to throw it some memory clock. So honestly, in this case, I'm probably going to choose this second one down here. I'm going to go 200, 1200, 160. 160 seems a little high, but we'll see what happens here. All right, so we'll go back to SimpleMining, and we know that our 1070 Ti is the first GPU, right? So the core is going to be 200, and then the memory is going to be 1200. Maybe this was right. I don't know. And then the power, that one said 160. I'm not going to put 160 on there. It's currently 109. Well, I guess I can put 160. All right, so we'll go 160. All right, so what is GPU number 2? Or actually, GPU 1 is a 1080. So then we will head back over to Overcooked Panda's database here. We'll change this to 1080 or 1080. Search. Okay, so it's pretty popular. Got a lot of them there. So it's 115, 800, and 180. So I'm just documenting it over here on the notepad so that I don't lose it. Paste that. Okay, so now we're going to go back to SimpleMining. And this one needs to be, that's core, so that is going to be, did we say 115? Is that right? Yeah, 115, 800. Is that right? Yeah, 115, 800, and 180. 115, 800, and 180. I'm curious to see what this power is going to be after opening it up wide like that. All right, and then the second, or GPU number 2, is a 1070. So then we'll head back over to Overcooked Panda, change this to 1070. search, and it wants 50, 1150, 120. So we're going to put that in there. I'm just documenting it on the notepad here. Go back to SimpleMining. We'll go 50, 1150, 120. 50, 1150, and 120. All right. So GPU number 3 was a 1080, and 1080s get 115, 800, and 180. Alright, GPU number 4, or GPU 4, is a 1070 Ti, and they get 200, 1200, 160. There's probably a quicker way of doing this, but 1200, is that what we said? Yeah, 1200 and then 160. I'm really curious what this is going to do. All right, and the last GPU, GPU 5, is a 1070. And 1070s get 50, 1150, 120. All right, cool. So let me zoom up on that. Now this is a big difference between SimpleMining and HiveOS. HiveOS, in the same configuration, basically will tell you what GPU it is, right? It'll have the name, the make, model, and 1080 or 1070 Ti or whatever. Whenever you click on that section, like if it was segmented out like this with commas, it would tell you over there on the right hand side, like, hey, this is what GPU you're actually configuring right now. So it's super convenient. SimpleMining does not have that feature, so you had to do it kind of manually like we did. We went to the rig configuration, what it saw the GPUs as, the numbers, and then we have to bounce that against this list. So it's a little bit more manual. So there you go. I'm going to leave advanced tools off, but if you were mining something that could use it, you could use, in this case it's NVIDIA, so you could use OGOD enlargement pill. And if you were using AMD, you could use like RX Boost 30, TAC I 30, and or AMD memory tweak. So those features are available to you. We're not going to use them right now, so we're going to click save. Then we need to go over to the rig and actually tell it to use that overclock setting. So right now it's at 1.32K sols. So remember that. And it looks like, and remember it's 701 watts on here, right? So I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. So we're going to go group OC link. We're going to choose NVIDIA AION. I wonder why it was at the top. Maybe it's because of the last one I edited. They might have changed that, because normally you would have had to click the down arrow. Okay, so save here, and now you can see the little red reboot icon over there. What's going on over here in chat? Anything good? A little thirsty. Sorry I did that on camera, but all right. What's happening here? So it restarted. I can see that. We'll have to give it a minute to start showing information on the console. But we're going to click the little eye here and we should be able to see something. I mean, it's still working. It's getting shares accepted, but man, that power, look at the power up here. That's a lot higher than it was earlier. Was it saying, yeah, 200 watts more, right? Because it was at 250 watts more because it was at 710, right? Now it's at 950. But getting a little bit more souls, right? 1.44. But that power, man, that's brutal. So at this point, what I would have to do is I would have to start bouncing this against, profitability calculators to see if it was worth it to set it with such high power, right? To see if it's, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm super tired, man. I'm exhausted. I had the yard in the new house is really large compared to the other house, and it takes about 3 hours, to cut and edge and weed eat and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm tired. Sorry. All right. What was I doing? All right, so I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but good grief. It's like the fans on those GPUs are really cranking. All right. So let's look at 1.43, and then let's see what my phone says at the wall. Or let's see what the smart plug says at the wall. 1100 watts. 1100, and that was up from what, 800? I think is what we were at, like seven something. So that is a huge difference. I'm not even going to go to the calculator because I don't have to. I'm going to immediately go in here and change that because that is way too much power. So let's go in here and let's modify this a little bit. I'm gonna knock off. Yeah, what were they before? I think it was like, I'm gonna knock off 20 from each. Probably should do more than that. Let's go 20. Yeah, so 140. We'll go 20 first. So 160 here, 100 there, 160 there, 140 there, and 100 there. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do 30. So we're going to go 130, 150, 90, 150, 130, and 90. All right. And then we're going to go save, and then it's going to restart. You can see that over there. It says starting miner program. You can barely make that out there. Alright, so share accepted there. That's good. We didn't break it. Let's go to rig list. See what's going on over there. Alright, so see, the watts haven't caught up yet. But now it's getting 1.37, a little bit lower, but not a whole lot lower. But the wattage, look at, it's now down to 881. So I would consider this to be a pretty good setting based on the wattage and the K souls. It's 1.38 now. It was 1.44 at the highest, but that was 300 more watts, right? So we were definitely not in the right area, right? So that's just kind of how you have to go back and forth and play around with it and see, what you typically, I guess you would want to keep lowering the power until you suffer drastically on the K souls, right? On the actual hash rate, souls per second. So I would, this one is pretty good. I would like this setting is pretty nice. Those overclocks. So let me show you what they are. just so you guys know. And this order right here is wrong, so I'll have to fix that. But I'm going to open this up. Oh, no, I'm not. Open it up. Alright, so basically, let me bring up my little note here. This is the 200 core is on a TI, a 1070 Ti. 115 core is on a 1080. And then 50 core is on a 1070. So the 1200 memory is on a 1070 Ti. 800 memory is on a 1080. And 1150 is on a 1070. 130 power is on a 1070 Ti. 150 is on a 1080. And 90 is on a 1070. And I would say that you could probably drop down the 1080 even a little bit more on the power and still be okay. But so there you go. Man, we covered a lot. Oh, thanks, Red Panda. I like to teach people stuff. Sometimes I'll say something worthwhile every now and then. Yeah, so I would say that this rig is probably, it would run this way for a really long time. I think it's fine with those settings. I even hear the fans calming down a little bit over there. You probably can't hear it, but it's actually, it was blasting like nonstop. Now it's kind of like, you know, it's calming down a little bit. You can see that the wattage here is 767 on SimpleMining. So I don't know. I really dig that setting. 1.38. Let's see what our souls per watt are. It says only 1.88. That's kind of low. It's not computing for me because I would think that it would be higher, but we see, I would probably play a little bit more with the power. I would probably pull back a little bit on the power, maybe 10 more each, and see if I could get that souls per watt back up to like 2.1, right? So let's do that. Let's play around with it for a minute. I'm going to pull them back another 10. So I'm going to go 120, 140. Wow, 80. I'm going to leave that one because that's a 1070, I think. I'm going to leave that one at 90. So 140 here, 120 there. Save. Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool, Red Panda. Yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be kind of cool looking. That'll be neat. Alright, so what I did, I dropped another 10 watts off of each card except for the 1070s because they were already at 90. So I'm going to leave those alone and just see what we come up with here. And we're kind of focused right now. We're focused on the souls per watt because that's kind of like your baseline, or that's what your goal is to have that as high as possible, right? Because that, you know, directly relates to what you're producing and how much power you're using. So it looks like 1.98 souls per watt. But remember, I mean, this is just like a restart, so you got to give it some time to kind of work things out. That'll probably change over time. Still kind of low, but it looks like you can kind of look up here and see. All right, so GPU 0 is 2, GPU 1 is 187. So GPU 1 was the, it goes by 0, right? Yeah, so GPU 1 was the 1080. So the 1080 is getting let's see here, is only getting 1.86. So it's the 1080 that's actually pulling it down. So what I would try to do first is I would probably go and crank up the memory clock a little bit. So the 1080s were 800. So all the 800s are 1080s. I'm gonna make the 1080s 1000. So we'll play around with this for a minute and see if we can get that sols per watt to be up over 2. You know, because the SimpleMining rig, whenever I'm mining AION on it, I'm getting 2.2 sols per watt over there, which is apparently like some kind of world record or something. No, I don't have any 1660s yet. I haven't bought any hardware in quite some time. That's why you're seeing me mess around with 10 series NVIDIA GPUs still. So all right, so it looks like it has restarted. It's 838 watts at the wall. It says 731 here. All right, so if we go into the console again, let's see what it says 1.95. Yeah, I'd probably have to, I mean, whenever we first started this, it was getting more than that, right? Wasn't it getting 2.1 or something? 2.0? So I'd probably have to play around with it. I mean, this is where I start getting into what I would probably do is I would go to my SimpleMining rig or my SimpleMining. I would probably go over here and look at what my overclocks are for this rig for Equihash. So it looks like, yeah, I want to say that and this is what I was talking about earlier with how kind of cool HiveOS is compared to SimpleMining whenever it comes to this specific task right now. But you can click on the number and you can see which GPU it's talking about over there. That's pretty convenient, right? So you know which GPU it's referring to whenever you click on the number over here. See how it changes? So this thing says, all right, I think that's what the overclock settings were initially, before I even started messing with them. And this looks like it has the same, it was 1070 Ti, 1080, 1070, 1080, 1070 Ti, and then 1080. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so wow, this is actually in the exact same order. Does that make sense? I guess it does. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this, go back over to SimpleMining, go back over to Group OC, do edit, basically get this thing back to what it was, right? And remember, you have to put your commas in there. And this, I'm almost positive that this is exactly where we started. That's kind of funny that we went down that rabbit hole whenever we really didn't need to. Because my settings on HiveOS must be stellar to get 2.2 and 2.3 sols per watt sometimes. So, not sometimes, but whenever I'm mining AION. So we're going to grab this memory clock. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and if GPU 1 is a 1080, and it is, you can see right there that I had the clock at 1900, and the highest I went whenever we were playing with it was 1000. So that probably had a lot to do with that. Sols per watt was so low. All right. So save that. And now we're probably going to get, that's probably about the best configuration because, I mean, in HiveOS it works great. So we'll just let that rock. What are y'all talking about over here? What didn't you know, Yashnik? Fill me in on what you didn't know, man. All right, let's see here. So it's restarted. K-souls is a little bit lower. Or souls per second. Probably increase a little bit maybe. But that is, you know what? That is exactly what I was getting on HiveOS. So that is a good thing. And then look at the power. It's so much lower. Look, 700, check that out. And remember, we were at 1100 whenever we used the overcooked pandas, you know, recommendations over there. So you got to see that you got to kind of play around with this stuff, and I don't know where I found what I probably was playing around with it and got, you know, this configuration or these settings. I don't know where I got them from. Probably just trial and error. But man, I mean, 700 watts compared to 1100. That's crazy. And we were only getting what 0.1 more sol, right, per second. So yeah, not worth it. So that's cool. Yeah, this even says 629 down there. Wow, that's really low. Okay, so now let's look at our sols per watt. 2.13. See? You guys see that right there? 2.14. Boom. Awesome. And it might actually go up to 2.2 after everything settles down. Very cool. I'm digging that. I like it. Yeah, that was huge. That power change was huge. And we didn't even lose. We lost what, 0.1? So the profitability has gone up a lot. So let's check that out, most likely. So let's go over here to what to mine. We got 1.27. So we'll go 1270. The power is 710 watts at the wall. So right now it was $2.22. Oh, it went down a little bit. Okay. So maybe that other setting was actually better, not the high power one, but the one that it initially had, because remember it had an Equihash 1445 setting in there across the board, and I think that's how we got the 2.22, but it's still pretty close. It's a lot quieter. The fans aren't spinning at 100 miles an hour. Yeah, cool stuff. All right, so let's see what is going on in the market. Are we recovering at all? Not really. Ugh, yeah, that's ugly. I don't want to look at that. All right, that is going to. Did I have my camera on? I probably wasn't even showing you all that stuff that I just did, huh? Anyway, did y'all see that? Or did I switch this camera off? Y'all probably weren't even paying attention. All right, so anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I have to go to bed. It's 11 o'clock. We've been doing this for an hour and a half. I'm just killing myself with these streams because I know that the watch time is going to be really low because it's so long, right? So anyway, I enjoy it. It's fun for me. So thanks for hanging out and everything, guys. I really appreciate it. I will see y'all probably tomorrow. I'll probably be streaming tomorrow. It might be something super relaxed and just some kind of chill stream thing. Maybe not even about AION. I don't know. We'll see. This has kind of been AION week, but we'll see what's up. I will see you guys tomorrow, most likely. Thanks so much for stopping in and hanging out and watching me mess around with stuff. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Stay savage.